Okay, should Sunderland just stop this nonsense and appoint a manager immediately? To discuss that, what is going on at this fantastic club, and just preview the QPR game this weekend, we are joined by our regular Jack. Good evening, Jack.
Good evening, Matt.
And our special guest on the Sunderland View this week is Twitter royalty, the mighty Mackham. Jordan, how are you, Jordan?
I'm fine, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. Better than you two, I'd imagine. At 2-2 down at St. Mary's, Jack, did you believe for a second, that Sunderland had turned a corner?
Yeah, well, it's that false hope, isn't it, that they keep giving us and they've given us for years on end, really. We weren't very good, and then we had a good 10 minutes, and suddenly you're like, oh, well then, let's do this. But yeah, didn't really take long for it to fall apart again.
But you scored 2 goals. I mean, come on, this is progress.
I know. I genuinely didn't think I'd take the day where we scored 2 goals again this season, but yeah, there we go.
Okay. All right, joking aside then, Jordan, this run is the worst run that Sunderland have been on for many years. It's become from being a fleeting worry to a bit of a crisis now. First of all, Jordan, what do you put it down to? Who do you blame?
Well, to begin with, I'm going to say Michael Beal. From the whole, sacking of Tony Mowbray. Do I think it was a good thing that happened when he got sacked? Yes, he didn't have a plan B. So obviously we went to Michael Beal. And obviously you would have seen in the community all over Twitter, and I'm sure Jack can agree on this, no one wanted him in. It was just an absolute nightmare. Went on God knows how long not getting a win. Going on to winning 2 games since he was here. And it just went downhill from there. We've had a January where, let's be honest, the transfers hasn't been the best. We brought in Mundell, Styles, and I think 1 or 2 more, but so far they don't look that appealing. But other than that, I've put it down to Michael from the whole Michael Beal situation, and ever since from there, it just went down massively.
Sorry, tough. I can't believe that we are discussing relegation, and I almost don't want to, because there's too many teams between Sunderland and Huddersfield at the moment, Jack. But what's the talk on the terraces about being dragged into this dogfight? Are Sunderland fans seriously concerned about being relegated?
I think some are, yeah. But on a person, I can't say. I just think there's too many teams. I really do. I mean, I get where people are coming from, because I don't see where we're going to win a game. I've got not much confidence. Like, you look at our fixtures and you think we're either playing a team better than us or a team that's going to be well up for it because they're even more in the dogfight. So I don't really see where we're going to get wins from. I do think we'll get a couple. It's one of them, but they'll just come when, if and when. But I do think there is just too many teams in between us, and I think we've got a 9-point gap still. So I think we'll be okay, but that gap is going to close, definitely. We're not going to stay this high, I don't think.
Jordan, do you agree with that? I mean, you're on 47 points, 1 more win to 50. No team's ever gone down with 50 points. We can stop this relegation nonsense talk, can't we?
Yeah, obviously we've only got a certain amount of games left. Personally, I'm not one of these supporters that's worried about getting relegated. I don't think we actually will. But I do understand where people are coming from. The point gap is getting closer, and obviously it does look like if we lose all this, then we'll go down. And obviously, let's be honest, we don't want anything to do with League One or anything again. It was a shambles last time. Managed to get out, but we need to stay away from it. I do think we'll pick up a few wins. One, in my opinion, being against QPR. But it is very tight, and we've just got to back what we have at the minute and just try and get them wins because we are coming up against some pretty good teams like Millwall, Watford, and obviously we've got some like QPR and Sheffield Wednesday, where I do think we'll pick up those points in those games. But it is going to be a tight and probably a very lucky escape if we actually do manage to like lose most of these games.
I want to ask you both about this point of view that I said right at the start. What is the point in hanging on now with Dodds to the end of the season? Why can't a manager be appointed in the next couple of weeks? Not saying straight away, but certainly before the end of the season, 4 or 5 games to go. Give them a chance to look at this squad, get them to find out about who's up for the fight, who's not up for the fight. Give some confidence to these young players who, to be honest, seem like they're being hung out to dry every week, and they must be their own confidence being lost. Why hang on for another 8 weeks, potentially, with defeat after defeat after defeat? Hang on for your skin in your teeth, only for then to appoint someone in the summer. I don't get it.
I feel like as soon as they said the Dodds thing, I was like, yeah, you've written it off at that. I think we had 13 games to go at that point. And once you do that, you've pretty much written the season off because Dodds isn't them. Like he's good coach. I like him. The players like him, but he's not a manager. He's not cut out for it. That's a simple fact, really. But I suppose that's what it is. What do you do? Do you get a Neil Warnock type in and just solidify the end of the season, or do you actually get someone for the future and just give them the end of the season just to settle in? Rather, I think the plan will be very late June, early July to appoint someone and give them the full pre-season. I think that'll be the plan, and they're giving themselves enough time to make sure they don't get this one wrong, because I feel like if they're appointing someone now, it'd be another panic appointment, which is what I think Beal was. You know, they were under a lot of pressure. The first few options hadn't gone. They panicked, appointed Beal, and it all went, you know, not to swear, but you know what I mean. So I don't think they want to do that again. They want to take the time with this one, make sure they're 100% certain in the man they're appointing, because they have to get this one right. If they don't, there is serious trouble from our fan base.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to cross the Mackhams. Jordan, what's your view on it all? Why wouldn't they just go out and just, you know, if it's going to be Will Still, let's go out and pay him off now and bring him in?
I think personally for me, I'd want to get a manager in from next season. As Josh said, obviously Dodds isn't a full-on manager, but you've seen his little spell before Beal came in and it looked great. Now it's just went to absolute shambles. So I think what they want to try and do is, because the injuries hasn't helped. We've lost Clark, we've lost Roberts, and then obviously the players that's gone, we've lost Pritchard, we've lost all them. And I think the reason to hold off with Dodds for now is to appoint someone new after the season's done. Let them have pre-season, let them have the window, get the players that he feels like is going to be in, get the right appointment in, so the whole fan base doesn't turn against them. Because at the minute, it's turning that way, and it's more pressure on them to do like a panic appointment right now, where again, as Jack said, it could be wrong.
Okay. I hope Adam Armstrong wasn't anywhere near you two when he ran over to the Sunderland fans. Any words for him?
Well, you don't expect anything less here, really. Like, I don't want to lose my editing, because I'd probably love it if a Sunderland player did it. But I mean, he's a Geordie, played for the Mags. He's scoring against Sunderland in front of the fans. I really did not expect any less. You know, I'd egg our ex-players on to do the same. It's just one of them things, isn't it?
Okay. Right, let's bring in somebody who knows Michael Beal very well, and that's our QPR fan, Jawad. Before we preview this game, Jawad, these two didn't like Michael Beal very much. Let's give him some love, shall we? Let's hear the QPR version of it.
I think you've come to the wrong person for that. What gets me is that the way that he left QPR, I don't know how any other fan base will ever take to him immediately. He's going to have to go in somewhere and win 6 or 7 games in a row to gain any kind of trust in a fan base. His press conferences, his interviews got tiresome. And I think there's a perception that he did a really good job at QPR. And we started that season quite poorly, actually. And I think after 5 games, we had the same points this season under Ainsworth as we had under Beal. And then he went on a decent run. And then he lost his last 5 games with us, and the performances were awful. So I think kind of his reputation was built on a good run of 6 or 7 games. And then, yeah, I don't know where he goes next, but I think there was quite a few QPR fans looking forward to playing Sunderland away with him in charge. But I think he should be special guest referee at the weekend or something, and the loser gets to keep him for a year, maybe.
Sounds a good proposition. Yeah, I think QPR fans go and have a chat with Sunderland fans this weekend in the pubs around the ground. You can chat, wax lyrical about Michael Beal. All right, then let's get serious though. This is a big game for QPR, Jared. Bigger than it is for Sunderland, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really big game. Saturday's performance was not very good, and I think the games are running out. We've got tough games. We've probably got 5 games coming up that we should get points from, and then after that we play Leeds, Coventry, Preston. So I think this one is one that they'll definitely be aiming to get at least a point. It does worry me the poor form that Sunderland are in, because we've been there before with other teams, and when they've lost 5 or 6 games in a row, we usually are quite charitable, let's say. So, yeah, it's a huge one, really, really big one for us.
Jack, Sunderland won this reverse fixture 3-1. I think Colback was sent off this one. It was a bit of a stroll when Sunderland were a bit of a force. Do you see any kind of likelihood of a repeat scoreline this weekend?
It's frustrating me. I remember that. It feels like years ago. It was a lovely sunny weekend in London. Lovely Saturday. We were a good team. Everything felt like it was on the up, and yeah, a few months later, and it's all gone to pop up. I don't see anything too similar, like a scintillating performance again. I mean, if we win, we'll probably scrape it. QPR are desperate for winning. Pardon me. For the Borough game, they're in a good run of form. So, again, it's not a team you want to be playing. We need a win or something, because 6 or then going into 7 losses on the bounce would be catastrophic. Like, the mood of the club would be an all-time low. So we desperately need something.
Yeah,
and I do think we'll get something from it though.
Jordan, this is the first time that Sunderland have lost 6 league games on the run since 2013. 7, and the fans start revolting, don't they? What needs to happen this weekend against QPR that hasn't happened in the previous 6 games in terms of personnel, tactics, formations, to make sure this isn't 7 in a row?
Well, first off, I think the best lineup needs to come out. Most foremost, with our team, we've got 3 strikers that haven't seemed to hit the ground running. The only one that scored in the actual league so far is, I think, Burto scored 1 and Rushin scored 2. For me, I think Rushin should be starting. I think he's the best striker out of all of the ones we've actually got. I don't rate this player myself, but I don't rate Bar. But personally, I think Bar should be starting. I am one of those players, unfortunately, supporters. That don't actually rate Bar. But I think if we put a decent squad out and actually know what we're doing and actually go out and get that win, then I think something may happen. I know one thing is that I know Job definitely needs a rest, so I think he deserves that rest, especially in this game. And coming up for the next, I'd say 2 or 3 games, try and get him back to normal. But other than that, I think we need to stay on top, and I think the best lineup needs to be brought out, because if not, we're all going to lose again, and it's something we don't need to have. We need to win, or the whole the supporters, the club. It's just all going to go downhill, and it will be 7 on the bounce, and it's something we don't need.
Okay. Jack, Twitter was saying, I hope we never start Bursto again following the Southampton game. Is that too harsh a sentiment?
No, it's just pointless. I don't understand it. I mean, we've got players who are our own, Rusyn and Hamia, albeit Hamia's nothing special like, but we've got Burto who's on loan. He's not ours. It's not his fault. He's been loaned somewhere that's too high for him. It's simple as that. He is not good enough for the Championship right now. And I just don't see the point in playing him, who is comfortably the worst of the three, over someone who we could have as our own, actually develop them and is actually going to be here next season.
Okay. All right then. Right, this has been a very morbid affair. Let's put some let's put some smiles on our faces and let's try and predict this game. Jawad, you can go first. You'll be travelling up to the Stadium of Light. What do you reckon?
I saw that Sunderland's average starting 11 was 20 years old. Was it? Extremely young at the weekend. Anyway. So I'm kind of hoping the experience that we have in our team, players like Isaac Hayden, who I'm sure will get a good reception from the Sunderland fans, Jack Colback, who will get a good reception from the Sunderland fans. Players like that, Clark Salter, that experience might be really, really key at the weekend, especially if we can nick the first goal. I'm going to go a 1-1 draw, and I don't think we'd be too unhappy if that was the score.
Jordan, would you take a 1-1 draw now just to stop this rot?
Personally, as much as I would love at least a point, I'm going to say no. I'd want the win. I am going to say 2-1, and just to even bite you in the actual blood for QPR, I do see Colback also getting sent off again.
You hope. Jack.
That'd be nice, yeah. I don't see where a win's coming from. I think defensively we're leaking. Ballard is injured. O'Nien is suspended. Our defence is going to be poor, really, really bad. And yeah, we got a couple of goals against Southampton, but I mean, there are a couple of very good, one-off goals. I can't see us creating too much. But I think we'll get a goal somewhere, and I actually do agree with Jawad. I do think we'll get something. I'm going to go 1-1 draw.
Okay. All right. Oh, enjoy the game, all of you, in the Michael Beal derby. We will catch you in 2 weeks' time, and hopefully some smiles on your faces. Thank you all. Just before you, if you haven't yet followed Jordan's content on Twitter and through the channels, have a look in the comments below and in the descriptions, and you can click on the links and follow Jordan's super content there. Thank you for joining us as a guest, Jordan. Good luck for the rest of the season, and thank you for all the wonderful content you put out. Really good to talk to you.
No worries, mate. Appreciate it.
And Jack and Jawad, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you.
See you later.